Welcome back to the MiM26 Shorts. This is Abel Kelly. Today we're talking with Phill Clarke, who will present during the conference. His topic is the powerful role of AI in clinical workflows. Phill, tell us about your topic.
Yeah, hi, Averick. Thanks for having me on, and I'm really looking forward to coming to MIM in early 2026. Um, so the topic I'm speaking about, AI in clinical workflows. So essentially, a little bit of a different take, perhaps. When many people think of AI these days, they immediately think of large language models, LLMs, or agentic AI, they call it, where you type in a request and the AI goes away and returns you paragraphs of text as an answer. My particular field of AI is more around image analysis using deep learning. So this is using AI to look at bioimages mostly to detect features, to analyze that image. This field's been around for a while in medical imaging, so it's radiography, MRI, but it's still a reasonably newish and emerging field when it comes to pathology, histopathology, cytology. And the AI applications that are being developed are essentially looking at these very large, very complex whole slide images. Essentially, when you normally stick a glass slide under a microscope, what you see through that microscope, those images are now being scanned at a very high resolution, and then that allows us to do some kind of automated image analysis. And so that's only really the first step is doing that image analysis after, and it's great for research, but to actually integrate that into a clinical workflow, there's quite a long process you need to go through to have that piece of software certified, whether that's in Europe certified under the IVDR or maybe in the US certified by the FDA. There are some emerging applications now that have probably the last 2 or 3 years that are starting to get certified for clinical use, which is great. What we haven't quite seen yet is the complete digital end-to-end workflow in that clinical pathology world. So we're working on it as an industry and we're getting there. And I think one of the key things to keep in mind when we're talking about any kind of AI, but particularly, I guess in my field, image analysis, is that we should never, even in a clinical setting with a certified piece of software, we should never rely 100% on that AI to give us a 100% foolproof answer. They're really, in my view, they're really adjuncts to the trained professional, to the pathologist. They provide insight. They might take us 80, 85% of the way to a diagnosis, but ultimately there needs to be a human in the loop somewhere to really verify what the automated analysis is telling us, and to make sure it's not making obvious mistakes and returning junk. So that at a high level, that pretty much covers it.
So basically, you work for an organization that is going to remove the pathologist, the radiographer, who is going to be looking at these scans. And as a tropical nurse, we focus on using slides to diagnose for malaria and worms and fecal pathologies, and your technology is going to end that, isn't it?
No, essentially, I don't think that's the case, and I guess that's what I was trying to say with my last point about always needing a human in the loop. I don't think we should ever remove the pathologist entirely. I think what this technology will do, though, is go some way to addressing the shortage of trained pathologists in many parts of the world, and not just in the developing world either, but in Europe, in the US, there really just isn't enough trained pathologists coming through. So this technology essentially will reduce the amount of time that the pathologist needs to spend on individual cases. They'll be able to process more cases. And it also brings in the possibility of telepathology. So you're familiar with and talk about the concept of telemedicine. It's exactly the same thing. So the ability for a pathologist to look at or to review analyzed images. Those images, maybe they were scanned and analyzed the other side of the world, and the pathologist just is looking at the result locally on their computer at home or in the office thousands of kilometers away. So I think we'll always need the pathologist. It's just that there's not enough of them, and this technology hopefully will go a long way to addressing that shortfall and generally speeding up the diagnostic process, as well as making it more accurate. I don't want to go into too many details. You have to come to MIM to hear the talk. Where pathologists, perhaps we're seeing, if we're using multiple pathologists to analyze the same slide, you might see variants of in some complex cases 10, 15%. When pathologists are maybe counting different features or observing different features in a slide, with the automated AI-based image analysis, we could probably get that down to less than 5%. So we should have more robust diagnosis, but again, it still needs that human there to actually say, "Yep, this is correct," and it's not just an AI hallucination.
So during this roundtable, there's going to be four of you that are going to be having a chat, and my guess is you are pro AI.
I am pro AI, but with caveats. So I tend generally not to, on a daily basis, use the large language model or the agentic AIs. I have read a lot about some of the hallucinations that people are getting back using those tools, and I think maybe they're not quite ready for the clinical workflow yet. I might be wrong. I'm not aware of any of them actually being certified for such use at this time. I am pro AI for the image analysis, but again, with the caveat that these tools can't be allowed to run 100% on their own. They need some checks and balances.
I look forward to hearing your roundtable and the discussion during the MIM 26.
Great. Thanks a lot, Averick. I'm looking forward to being there.